Hi, I'm Jim with Pour the Juice, and in this video, it's Wifey Wednesday, episode 15, I think. It smells pretty good in this room right now. If this is your first time watching Wifey Wednesday, well, you have 14 other ones you could watch. But also, it's an episode of content that I put out where my wife goes and she picks a couple bottles or one bottle or whatever it may be, and my goal is to try to guess what it is. My goal is also going to be to give you a price that I would pay for whatever that bottle is. So it may be one that I highly under evaluate or over evaluate. I may love it, I may hate it. It could be an expensive bottle, it could be a cheap bottle. We'll see. But I'm gonna get to drinking now. It smells so good. I think I said that already, but whatever's in here, I have high expectations for. First one, it looks a little bit light. I don't think this one's gonna be toasted or double oaked or anything like that. It smells nice. Smells very nice, actually. Very non-abrasive. Crowd pleaser, I would say. Maybe Buffalo Trace family-esque. Smells good. All right, I'm gonna smell the other one. Change of pace. This one looks a little bit darker. It's a little bit like honey in the glass, which is nice. And this one does not have as much of a expressive smell. It's having a little bit of trouble getting out of the glass. There we go. Getting a little bit more. Smells a little bit darker than the first glass. First glass smells like a little bit like light fruit, which is why it's a Buffalo Trace vibes. Yeah, it still has that. It's not Buffalo Trace. I'm gonna guess it's some sort of rye. It is the exact opposite of what the nose was. The nose was nice and fruity. This palate is a little bit abrasive. It almost has like a rice spice aspect to it on the tongue, at least on the first sip. This is my first whiskey of the day, so I do apologize. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go in for one more sip on this one. See, normally I would guess that this is probably around 100. I think it's actually a little bit higher than that. I don't think it's much higher, but maybe like 105-ish proof. Price-wise on this glass, this is going to be interesting. I'm not that high on this. I think it's just okay. It's giving me a little bit of a Kentucky hug, which is making me think it's probably more expensive because, higher proof stuff it usually is. But the nose is so much better than the actual whiskey to me. What could that be? I wouldn't pay very much for that, I'll be honest. I have too much other good whiskey that I would pay for. I don't know what that is. I have a feeling as soon as I know what it is, it's going to make a lot of sense, but I'm going to hold off. I'm going to let it sit in the glass before I make my judgments. I'm going to go to the second glass and see how that one's going. Because this is also coming off a little bit bitter. Hopefully some air will help it. All right, back to this second glass. I'm still getting that Kentucky hug from that first glass. Either first whiskey of the day is hitting me pretty hard, or that is a little bit higher proof than what I thought it was. This one still is having trouble with the nose, or I'm having trouble with the nose. It does smell a little bit darker. It smells a little bit more like stewed fruits, like brown sugar. If this was more expressive on the nose, it would be right up my alley. And the palate is right up my alley. Although I would say it does come across a little bit lighter in proof than the other glass. But to me, it's more flavor. So a lot of those same notes on the nose, like I said, the dark fruits, the darker sugars do come across on the palate. And it's almost coming across to me as a Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye, although I know it's not. This is not high enough proof to be that. If it is, I'll be very surprised. It's not packing the punch here, and also isn't coming across with the intensity on the palate. So I don't think it's a Jack barrel proof rye. Could be something Woodford. Could be Old Forester. Who knows? I like this one a lot more. And I do think my palate's off today. So what I will say is I would definitely pay like at least 65 for this glass. This glass is by far the winner. I would pay at least 65 for this, even with my palate the way it is. It's a little off. I don't know if I'd say 70. Getting a Kentucky hug with this one too. This is tough. It's tough when you know your palate's off. I'm gonna go back to this first glass, which is now coming across with some cotton candy vibes on the nose. Like more like white sugar. And it's pairing with that light fruit that I mentioned before. And my palate is definitely off. Right now, with the way my palate is, I wouldn't pay $40 for this glass. But it has to be my palate. Anyway, that's what I'm going to go with. Under 40 for this. I'd pay 30. The nose is good enough for that alone, I think. Yeah, the way my palate is, 30. Let's go. Let's say 75 for this one. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe 80. All right. Babe, could you hand me the winner, which is glass A? Or bottle A? Oh, interesting. Not what I was expecting. Rare breed though. So I was right. This one is quite good. I said Jack Daniel's. I'm telling you, my palate is off today. I'm gonna have to go eat an apple. Try to solve what's going on here. But I'm not that big of a fan of rare breed as compared to other people. Still enjoy it. It's still a great bottle. Me saying $80 for it, $75 does match, even though you can get it for like 60. So let's find out what the not so great bottle is, in my opinion, with B. Haha, that's funny. Yes, this trails. Rare breed rye. This is also non-chill filtered rare breed rye. They might all be non-chill filtered. Usually I enjoy this bottle quite a bit. Not tonight though. But I didn't enjoy either of them tonight the way I should. But I did mention those fruit notes on the nose. Even, I said cotton candy, which I typically don't get. But what I have gotten in the past is some serious notes of fruit on the Rare Breed Rye. And I do think that's pretty interesting. You don't get that a lot with non-Buffalo Trace brands. I had actually gotten a berry nut on this at one point in time when I first opened it. The bottle's a little bit old these days, but yeah. Even though I said I wouldn't pay 40 bucks for it, I'll have to do a full review one day and see if that's true. Because my memories of this bottle are that it is pretty good. But at the end of the day, can't fight the blind, right? I hope you enjoyed the video. This is a little bit of a weird one, but I'm glad you watched. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe and please comment what your opinions are of Rare Breed and Rare Breed Rye. I know everybody loves Rare Breed. Does anybody out there hate it? I don't hate it. I'm just wondering. I'm going to stop rambling now. Thanks for watching. Cheers.